Yes, welcome back lads. Another week, another daily race video. Last night we streamed Race A, so this week's qualifying video is, you guessed it, Race A in the Honda Fit on good old Comfort Sports. Pretty tricky car, really do have to maximise the track width, turn in from as wide as possible, try and clip them apexes, and it does have a unique little, it's not really a skill, but as you hit the apex, overturn the car, hit wide open throttle and rev up the engine, and then slowly unwind the steering wheel and let the revs come back to the car. We tried that on a few corners through this lap. Seems to be worth a couple of tenths. I could only do a 35.6 without using that technique, but this one needed a 35.4. So without further ado, let's jump on and make our way down to turn 1. So braking about halfway between the 50 board and the 100 board, probably 70-75 meter, a little bit of threshold into trail, try and carry that trail to the apex. As you pick up the apex, you'll see that we oversteered and got wide open throttle, and then slowly unwind the steering wheel. That just gives the motor a few more RPMs off the apex, and it really helps with your speeds down the straight. So we're going to be braking here just before the 50 board. It's going to be a short little bit of threshold, and then trying once again to trail brake to the apex. And then when we hit the apex, you'll see us chuck in a bunch of steering and smash wide open throttle and let the car understeer to the edge. We take a couple of stabs at the throttle through here. Ideally you'd have just one shot at it. Could be where the extra tenth I'm looking for is. And braking when we run out of ripple strip on the right hand side, trying to get back over to the left hand side to open this U-turn up. I think we missed the apex just a touch, but the technique is the same. Wind in all that steering and lock, so you're oversteering the car here, wide open throttle, and let the car understeer to the exit. It's a bit of a tricky technique. I don't recommend it to try it straight away. Once you sort of flatlined your qualifying time, then start to add this technique. It's probably won't be used that much in the race, I wouldn't suggest. Same deal, we don't do it much there, but you oversteer on the apex, you'll see the revs jump up, and then we slowly unwind the steering wheel on the exit, and hopefully that buys us a few hundred RPM, which will buy us a couple of kilometers on the straight. So braking after the board next to the orange dot, I think it's at about the start of that ripple strip, threshold for the splittest of seconds, then trying to trail down to the apex. We sort of slide past it on this occasion. That's why we have to wait a fair while to jump back on the juice. You'll see that technique used once again, oversteering the front wheels and then wide open throttle to lift the RPMs of the engine, and then run for the line. And if you're super lucky, you might get yourself a 35, but 36 and 37 is definitely possible. So fast mode, here it is. You see a little bit of yaw on the way into the apex. Don't start with that. Start with a nice smooth entry, and then when you're looking for the last couple of tenths, add a little bit of yaw to it. You'll see those thresholds to trails, really short thresholds. We're not wiping off too much speed. Had to have 2 bites at the throttle. Try and make that 1 bite there. This is very tricky. Try and come back and get a little bit of curb at least. And you'll see a little bit of puff of smoke there. I don't know how else to explain that technique actually. But you'll just see the massive amount of input, and then you'll see the revs jump up, and that's where you're getting the last, half a second really. You should be able to do it a 35 without that technique though, if you nail all the other bits. I found this one the most tricky. Still have a fair bit to work on in there, I think. Extremely difficult. Now we'll jump on board for the old in-car view, and we'll check out what the markers are. So once again, on the way into the 50 board. You see, as we realise that the car is going to pick up the apex, that extra lock of steering goes in and the wide open throttle comes on. Slugbox 140k an hour flat out. So gentle on the turn in, you don't want any sudden movements in this car. It makes it slalom around a touch. Just see how it lifts the engine, and then as you slowly unwiden the steering wheel, the load comes back to the tyres, and you're just using, I don't know, in drag racing you call it the bag, so you're using the bagged up tyre to actually shoot you forward a little bit. Or it's like a tyre, you're unwinding the tyre and that launches the car forward a little bit quicker. Like I said, I think we did a 35.6 without that. And then I had a quick look at Servia's time to try and find out where he was making the extra 4/10. And he had this crazy seesaw technique. He was doing it for every corner, way more drastic than we were. Really looking for every last tenth, I'd guess. And here is a little bit of bumper for all the bumper players. I'll probably sign out right about now. If you're new here, give us the old thumbs up and subscribe. Otherwise, we might start grinding out some daily race C now and see what that qualifying time can get down to. Otherwise, good luck and enjoy this nice slow slug box. Catch ya.